my biggest piece of advice would be to keep it simple. Don't try to build in features that you think your customers want, and especially features that they won't need from day one. Because if you think about the timeline of a product before when it actually goes live, you will have 0 downloads on the first day. Most startups, depending on your launch campaign. And those customers that download your product, they probably won't need features like I want to reset my password or login, for example. All they want to do is just use the service. So I know it's a difficult conversation to have in most startups, but if you're running a very lean, agile team, you need to learn how to say no to stakeholders, because the guys with the vision and the ideas will want everything built from day one. But sometimes it's just really important to keep it simple and think what is absolutely necessary for launch. And that's a single piece of advice I would give you.
So minimum viable product.
Exactly.
Just don't have things that people don't need.
But even with the MVP, I would still sit down and review. Okay, this is the MVP, and this is every single feature that goes in the MVP. Cut that down by half, because I can guarantee you, even if you agreed on what the MVP was, if you looked at the size of the team most startups start with, you're going to go, it's going to take me 2 years to build this, and this is the MVP, so we need to sit down and cut it down even more.
So we thought about the tech point of view very, very heavily, and potentially didn't think about how to scale the company from an organizational people point of view too much. So what we did initially was with a bit of a mistake. We had engineering and what we call growth, our growth team, very separate, and it didn't work too well. So essentially, we've followed a method that a lot of other companies have used and just have very lean, agile product teams. Someone once said, never have a team you can't feed one takeout pizza, otherwise it's too big.
I think it was Netflix that did the 2 pizza team.
Yeah. So essentially, so this is what we do now. We have, I think it's 23 product teams in the business, and a product team is a product manager, and that product manager acts as a CEO with that team. And they'll sit with and work with a couple of engineers, a couple of data scientists and designers, say. They will sit together, they will face each other. They are their own separate business, essentially. They're responsible for absolutely everything. So it's almost like a co-working space in that way in our office, where you've got all these different teams. If they give an instruction, it might be, okay, let's look at this product, it needs some love, let's try and raise user numbers by 30% over the next 6 months. Go, do whatever you want to get there. Experiment, iterate with it. It's something that we've tried to replicate how we worked as a small organisation, even though we're now a big organisation, which isn't easy. But we just thought it gives people back a lot more when they're still making the decisions, they're still seeing all the data. That works very, very well.
Yeah. So I guess Netflix is a good example with their tribes and pizzas. They follow exactly the same rule. But I remember reading an article about from their CTO, I think he said, but it's a very great way of doing stuff, but it's connecting the dots that sometimes becomes an issue. How do you connect the dots when you've got all these teams that are not dotted?
Yeah, so we do it in a way that I don't think anyone else on the scale that we are actually does this. And again, it was the same thing we did from day one. So we have, I think now it's around about 90 million actions on the site daily, all feeding into a back-end database, billions and billions of lines. Our centralized dashboard is now 12,000 graphs, I think, all in real time. I don't look at them all, there's too many now, but that's open to the entire business. Every single individual sees what the CEO sees, every single individual makes the decisions. We send daily stats emails, obviously every day. We have a weekly town hall meeting that's beamed live to the entire global office brigade, where we can edit on the fly and stuff, and so people in our Vancouver office are asking questions to the CEO in Sydney. Everything's constantly being talked about. We have weekly products presentations where each product says, this is what we've released this week. So everyone's constantly talking about everything that we need to talk about to run the business successfully.
It's one of our team values actually is being nimble, so doing something great quickly rather than something that's perfect slowly. So yeah, we've definitely learned that the hard way, slimming down the scopes until they are something deliverable and something you can learn from quickly. Because the sooner you get your product or feature out, the sooner you can get that really valuable feedback from your customer. So being open to taking those ideas straight from your customer, find out what's working for them, bring them in for a cup of tea, get to know them, rather than, you know, working in a silo and thinking about what your customer might want. It's better to launch something and test it with them, and then you can work collaboratively with them to make it better. Whether that's also looking at aggregate data, so what are your web stats? What are they saying on surveys, for example? How can you engage them to give you that really rich feedback that enables you to move forward rather than continuing to be slow on that amazing list of features that of course you want to develop, but yeah.